Hello, nice to see you. So these are things which do not require lots of time and energy because you know me, attention span of a fish. I was there on my iPhone just tapping away and they just came to me, so I thought I'll share them with you. Number 1. You are going to die. Oh, I went right in there, didn't I? But it's true, I'm going to die. You're going to die. When I get worked up about things, which is pretty much on a daily basis, I try and remind myself of this saying. Most of the time I forget. Would I be worrying about this if I was on my deathbed? No, I would not be worrying about this if on my deathbed. It just puts everything into perspective, all the minor details, silly little feuds, all of that. When we just keep this in mind, we are going to die. All the things we procrastinate on, we start taking the baby steps to do. It's not what you have done in life that you regret, it's what you haven't done. Number 2, and before I do, please subscribe if you haven't already and like this video and share it with all your friends. That would be marvellous. So number 2 is understand there is no right or wrong in politics. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble with this one. Two people can have they can actually want exactly the same outcome, but because they've got different views of how to get to that outcome, they are politically divided. And there will never be a time where we all agree on politics. It's impossible. So my message is this. Don't hate me for it, but let's not let politics divide us as people. Let's just come together as people and let the governments be at loggerheads. Do you have someone in your life who drains you? Well, drop them. Drop people who drain you. I'm not talking about a friend going through a bad time. You know, we must always stand by our friends. I mean people that just constantly drain you, where you come away and where you just come away feeling negative and drained and no energy. There are people who just drain people like leeches. I'm aware it's hard to do if it's a family member, but you can even distance yourself from them. You know, just keep your own personal boundaries, keep a distance, but if they're not family, just get rid of people like that. Be grateful for the health you have. You see, I don't do this every day, but pretty much nearly every day. I sort of think, well, I'm so lucky when I'm walking to the gym. I'm walking to the gym. I'm walking to the... And then I think, I'm walking. I'm actually walking. I'm walking. And, I just think it's marvellous, really. And the more positive things you can say in your mind on a daily basis, the more things you have where you can recognise how lucky it is. Sometimes we just don't recognise, but the more we realise how lucky we are, I believe, the better things come into our lives and we just feel better. Everything's better when you feel better. It's all about feeling. Love and respect others, but don't be a pushover. Well, how do I not be a pushover? You're probably not a pushover. I'm a bit of a pushover. I'm slowly learning, and how I'm learning is I'm trying to love myself more. So I do believe, as well as loving other people, we must also love ourselves. And when you love yourself, you can strike the very fine balance between what's being a loving individual and what's being a pushover. If you are loving yourself, if someone tries to, get you to be a pushover, you're like, I'm not being a pushover, I love myself. Bugger off. So love others, love yourself, don't be a pushover. Tell the people you love them. I don't mean in a weird way. I don't mean like, telling them every 5 seconds, but if you've got somebody in your life, be it a family, a friend, Some people don't have anyone in their life. You know, there's a huge problem with loneliness, especially amongst the elderly. So when you've got people in your life, just appreciate them and just tell them once in a while, and it makes it all feel so nice when you're like, oh, I really like you as a friend too, and just give each other a hug. I'm going to get emotional now. Give yourself permission to relax. This is different from giving yourself time off. This means when you're actually in a situation of relaxing, it's also good to establish how you relax. I relax by having a bath or walking or sitting in the steam room and sauna at the gym. That's how I relax. But say if you have 1,000,001 things to do, sometimes we don't actually give ourselves the permission to relax. We don't actually make that decision in our brain that we are allowed to relax. I've got attention deficit disorder. I'm so slow. I never get my to-do list done. Ever. For me to sit down and think I deserve to relax is very, very difficult because I'm like, well, I've got 1,000,001 things to do. So I'm slowly learning to say no. I'm going to relax. And that's different to time off. Give yourself permission to relax. And breathe. Travel! I know I said at the start of this video, well, it's all easy, doesn't require time. I know travelling requires time. However, I will tell you a story. Recently, actually not so recently, it was a few months ago, but I went to Wales and I stayed in a travel lodge for one night, £35. I booked in advance. Great company, Travelodge. If you're watching from the US or somewhere else in the world that isn't Britain, Travelodge is a company with cheap accommodation but clean. And this one night, just one night getting away, it still gave me that feeling of getting away, having a new experience, you know, getting out your own head, getting perspective. So by travel, I don't necessarily mean going away for 3 months. I just mean getting away. Embrace a moment. Some moments don't become perfect moments until we're like, oh, this is a perfect moment. I've done it myself. I'm trying to think of it. Christmas, that was one. So there I am, I'm sat around the table, I cooked Christmas lunch, so it was actually, I did a good job. And I just sat back, and there's something to do, just sit back for a minute and just observe the moment. Even the fact we've got our eyes to observe, quite amazing really, and just become aware of moments. And then you think, oh, it's a perfect moment. I didn't know it was a perfect moment, but it's a perfect moment. So embrace the moment. Before I go on to the last point, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already and hit the like button and share with all your friends. So the last point is decisions. There is nothing that causes my brain more stress than decisions, but the ones I'm talking about are the small decisions. You know, not to waste your brain power or your energy or your precious time over the small decisions. You know, like if you're in the supermarket and you wanted one thing and then there's like, if you buy two, you get a third one free. Like, well, what do I do? With decisions, there are often no right or wrong. You just have to make a decision, go along with it, because any decision you make in life, you don't know at the time of making it if it's going to be a good one or a bad one. You only find that out days, weeks, months later. So just make a decision, go with it, and trust whatever you go with in life, you will be supported, you will find a way. So yes, don't get stressed about decisions. So that's it, and thank you so much again for watching, and please comment and tell me which point was your favourite point, which you got the most from. That would be great, so I hope to see you again soon. I was just thinking to myself, well, I never give in to those promotional deals. And then I realised I only did it yesterday. You know, I was in Boots, 2 for 5 on Sensodyne. Oh, I did get my club card points though.